Glasses up.
Hi, yes.
Hey everybody, Books Booze Podcast. Doing sloppy cheers here.
No. That's how cheers is supposed to be done.
Just splash them over so it's not poison.
Yes, okay.
Take it away.
That's right, yeah. Okay.
I thought I was the only one that knew that urban legend.
Wow. Yes. Today we're drinking Spavern 10.
Oh, baby.
Which is a fine scotch.
Spavey.
Oh, Spavey. Actually, I like this. One of my New Year's resolutions was to drink more scotch. And this... It sounds like alcoholic resolution.
You set the bar too high this time, Dan.
I was like, what can I do to make myself feel more gentry? I'll read Wind in the Willows and drink scotch. So we're drinking scotch. This stuff's pretty good. I recommend it. It's pretty cheap. It's like $20 a bottle.
Yeah.
Definitely attainable.
Let the feelings die, brother.
Cry yourself to scotch. Today we are talking about Against the Clock. It's the tale of Roger Bannister. This is a Kindle single.
Hit it.
It's a quick read. And this is basically I never saw the movie Chariots of Fire, but all same thing about the guy that broke the barrier, which was the 4-minute mile. This was like unheard of at the time. This was, what year is this, like late 50s?
Yeah,
Something
56 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty. It's although they do a lot of details in the book. This is kind of a common story. The book is not like a first-person memoir. It's kind of looking at different historical accounts and things like that. This is a pretty big deal, breaking a period record. What do you think about this period of time, late 50s, breaking this race record that had been held for so long?
Okay, so the record itself, breaking it, was a huge deal. This is also, we're looking at the Cold War, and so the Cold War was fought obliquely through a lot of other little victories, being the first in space, winning Olympic gold medals. So this is the time when we're trying to show how awesome America is, No, I just ruined that because he's not American.
Well, no, but it's... No.
The British are trying
to... It was the British, and they...
So this scotch is really good.
Is this from Britain or American scotch?
But, so the whole world's engaged in this, not just Americans. Woo, good save. Where we're trying to show how great our nations are through a lot of different things. So it is a great athletic endeavor, but the accomplishment was also a proxy for how great... how superior our side, which is, democracy, civilization against communism, how great we are. So it was a big deal, but it was also a big deal in the backdrop of other political things happening at the time.
Yeah. What do you think of the era, the story?
Yeah. What to say? It was interesting because it was what to say here. What did me say? Oh, I don't know. He kind of equated it to the author equated it to like breaking the sound barrier, and these guys were, wanted. It was such a lofty goal to break the 4-minute mile, and it had never been done in record. I mean, there was the myth of someone doing it in 1777, but that was merely a myth.
Yeah.
But man, and then and the other thing too is it's like, doctors bring out the thick rimmed glasses and go to the chalkboard and go, it's physiologically impossible. A man will die. It cannot be done. Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And so it's it can't be done. And then the other thing too is Bannister and all these British guys, they the way the author portrays them, they were the end of sort of the amateur athlete. And so, the kind of paragon of athleticism is a man from Oxford or Cambridge who, I'm going to be a doctor, of course, but I run for fun. And I don't train that hard either. But I break the 4-minute mile. That's kind of their whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was interesting, given the time and even the cultural sort of milieu that the book represents. So.
Yeah, one of the cool takeaways of this book is that these guys, this was just kind of almost a fun hobby for them. And I mean that kind of like Roger Bannister, after, spoiler alert, he does break the 4-minute mile.
It says it in the introduction. If you read this, don't read the introduction. Just go straight into the first chapter heading, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because he kind of spells out the facts of the matter, and then you're like, well.
Yeah, you kind of get your dessert first if you read the introduction.
Yeah, I mean, you could Google it, but like for me, I didn't even.
Yeah.
4 minute mile. What is that? You know?
So the people had done like up to this point, like 4 and change, but no one had done under 4. And these guys were trying to be doctors. I mean, this was, or that Bannister was. He wanted to be a doctor, and this was kind of a, like, well, I'm gonna, we could probably do this. And he tried out for. This book's a little bit confusing because it shows a lot of different runners and a lot of different events that are all very similar. But one of the things that
if you love historical data about runners, you'll love this book. Yeah.
I mean, and these guys are a little larger than life too, kind of looking in retrospect. But Bannister tried out for a different qualifying race and set a record for England, but didn't medal. And this was kind of like his chance to get the Olympics. Biffed it up and said, well, since I didn't get that, I'm going to try to get this 4 minute mile. And the funny thing about it was, after it was all said and done, and he got the record. They asked him, "Was this your greatest accomplishment in life?" And he said, "No, of course not." Like he went on to be a very talented doctor and everything else. And when I read that, I was thinking back to when we read the Commander Hadfield book, the astronaut book.
Yes.
Because he kind of hit his stride of doing, in essence, the greatest thing he's going to do in life, right? Like his days of being an astronaut and flying around Earth are pretty much done. He can do other cool things in life, but that was, and he talked about in the book how that, you kind of have to be okay with that. And I went, oh, Bannister, his aim was kind of to be, I think, better in some sense, do something better for society, be a doctor, do all these other things. But the fact that he crushed this record was just kind of like that's a really cool thing I did. Like
on my resume.
Yeah.
At the bottom.
So, to understand that and to understand that attitude, you have to understand Oxford amateurism, especially on that period. There was just this, I think it still exists today, but it was much stronger in the past. There was just this belief that everybody would take up amateur hobbies and do them exceptionally well. It was just expected.
As a matter of course, my old being.
So maybe not do them exceptionally well, like be the best and break the 4 minute mile, but it was like you just keep working at something. And for the sake of doing something with excellence, so you might play the trombone, or you might take up running, or I don't know what all the various things are.
This, in a sense, this is even why are we doing booze and books, right? It's like can I produce something? Can I do something useful, something fun, something funny, something entertaining? Instead of, I have a lot of Twitter followers, and I'm really good at watching TV on Netflix, which is like most of the people in America.
Yeah.
So what do you even do all day?
I promise you I'm much better at watching TV on Netflix.
Well, so I shall see it when I see it.
I can scroll through the whole library without even watching the show. You don't understand. I've cornered the market on looking at shows I don't want to watch on Netflix.
You are my source for new Netflix shows.
Yeah, they're lacking right now. I think I should see Chariots of Fire is on there. Have you guys seen Chariots of Fire?
I saw it one time, fell asleep.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I saw it when I was a kid.
Okay, I wonder if it's
I saw it in
'99.
'99. Yeah,
I don't know if it's really held up well.
They might not have been.
Maybe.
Anyway, so
let us know.
Let us know in the comment section if it's worth watching still. One of the things that is unique about what Bannister did was he basically had his buddies help him on this endeavor that were really good runners. And at the time, they called it pacing, and it was kind of sort of illegal, right? So
illegal.
You couldn't enter someone into a race just so that they could pace someone else. Like they had to be there to run the race, but it was kind of looked as a form of cheating. If that was if you had a dude that could like this guy can run one hell of a lap, but after that he's done. And like if he was just jogging idly as everyone else is lapping him on track, that was like a no-no. But so his buddies basically went with the intention of helping him break this record.
Yeah.
And not winning the gold. And I don't know that we would have something like that happen today.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, maybe your old friend Ratty would do something like that. But this is deep hole.
Call back to Wind in the Willows.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Well, so shifting gears just a little bit. So when I read this, but not totally going in a new direction. Mm-hmm. When I read this, to me, one of the big questions that came up, one of the things I thought about a lot was stories, success stories.
Mm-hmm.
And Americans, we love particular kinds of success stories.
Yeah.
I mean, this Pacer issue is closely tied to this because the story that Americans really love is that of a single person pulling themselves up by the bootstraps and
rugged,
accomplishing
individual.
something great. Yeah, it's based on the Western frontier,
the cowboy,
yes.
the frontiersman, the Oregon Trail, all that.
Yeah, that kind of hard scrabble life. We really, really like these stories of individuals doing great things, somehow miraculous things that we can't even quite fathom how they do it. These things with no help, and they just get out there and do it. So I think a lot of the way that the story of Roger Bannister and Breaking the 4 Minute Mile gets told is a story of this one man accomplishing something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that individual success story is pretty universally a lie. Mm-hmm. And Roger Bannister had all these people helping him, not the least of which were the Pacers, which were, I don't know if they were legal, but it was definitely looked down on to have to be drafting off these people. But that part of the story doesn't get told. The part of the story that gets told is just this amazing guy, Roger Bannister, pulled himself up by the bootstraps and went on and ran that 4-minute mile.
Extra, read all about it. Roger Bannister across the pond runs up the 4-minute mile. The crazy Brits.
That's totally what it was. It was that, kind of fairy tale-esque thing. And I think, it's funny that everyone has this very individualized mentality, right? Like, you only ever see the finished product of someone that's super successful. You rarely see the miles of crap that they had to go to, or the hours they spent training and practicing.
But not just that, all that they had to go to. I think we have a sense that people probably do go through a lot to get to be successful. But I think the idea that there's all kinds of other help they're getting, and the options that are available to them that we can't quite fathom, that is totally off the radar. The kinds of help that you need to be successful. And that's downright antithetical to the American success story.
And I think the success story that we tell now is one of more glitz and glamour, whereas I think, a generation or two ago was about accomplishing some monumental task, right? So now you can be a reality show star, like, we'll take Kardashians, for example. It's an overrated example, but they have done some financial things like creating clothing and fragrances and all other crap. But that's kind of the idea of success. Whereas I wonder if you were to tell someone, here's your opportunity. You can be world renowned. People will know you as a famous personality. You will only make a small sum of money a year. But every time you go to a bar, people will know you. Or you can be like third or fourth person removed from some very big celebrity and make a lot of money. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have fame, or would you rather have the money? And I think our society is one to say, I'd rather have the fame. But I think that's kind of what, especially, I'm going to sound like an old man, but the younger generations,
these kids these days,
that's kind of what they're
YouTubes and their Snapchats.
Yeah, because if you kind of,
so let me take up devil's advocate and say that you should want fame more than you want money.
Okay, I agree, but I guess the thing that's with that is, would you be okay being part of someone else's journey to success?
Oh.
Would you be okay taking a backseat? Because these guys, they all went on to become very successful men. They founded charities and did all kinds of crazy.
And they're excellent runners. It's like it's like the next guy finished in 4:01. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't run a mile in.
Okay, so you're
40 minutes.
Roger Bannister breaks the 4-minute mile, and let's say you break it too, but you're pacing him, so it's unofficial, and then you're Bob, and every time you hear this story, you'll never hear your name Bob mentioned. You're only, even though you broke the 4-minute mile as well, you're only going to hear Roger Bannister's name. Would you want that role?
Or I guess would you be okay with that, knowing that you helped achieve something great? No one will recognize you for it. You'll get zero credit for it. Like everyone knows that Roger Bannister.
Because it doesn't work into the success story that we really like. Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, is like if that was as good as your success would ever be in life, could you be okay with going, man, I helped someone get there?
Or like for example, what if your wife designed some product? Would you be willing to support, nurture her as she goes and makes whatever she's the next Martha? Well, maybe not Martha Stewart. It's kind of a weird example, but
Skinny Girl Margarita
or whatever. Yeah, they're like, oh, and like, oh yeah, that's my husband. Oh, but you were the one that was with her the whole time, cheering her on, telling her process would sell. Doing all the phone calls and emails, doing the marketing in the beginning, and just really hitting it hard. I think.
So let me say, I think that the answer for everybody who was involved in like that Oxford Amateur Running Club, or people who believe in the Oxford Amateur concept, would be because fame or money is not the point of engaging in amateur activities. You do them for the sake of the things themselves and what they inculcate in your soul, the virtues and the disciplines they develop, but also just the fun and the sheer pleasure of doing those things in themselves. I think that idea is largely lost because whatever kinds of amateur hobbies we might engage in, we instantly know 700 people that are better at it. That do it so well that our attempts at it are put to shame. So we say, why should I bother to write poetry? Wordsworth has already lived and died, and 700 other good poets like that. I think that kind of thinking stops a lot of people from engaging in otherwise, really good hobbies and activities.
Yeah, I think so. That's I don't know, it's weird. I was thinking about this story and thinking it's okay to have a supported role in something great. And I don't think that's kind of undervalued in society.
I think we lost that. Yeah. Certainly.
But let me say something else about that. So part of the process of living life, though, I think, is that you don't know if you're playing a supporting role or not.
Oh, because he could have not won this, and these guys would have just been...
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that makes the 4-minute mile such a huge barrier to break is because it was totally uncertain at the time whether or not it could be done. It had never been done. There was reason to believe that it could, but it was very uncertain. So the story could have gone a very different way. He doesn't break the 4-minute mile, but maybe 6 months later, one of his pacers, bring Bob back again, his pacer Bob is the one who breaks it. And it turns out Roger Bannister is now he is now the supporting cast to former pacer Bob. I think the one thing about living life is you don't know if you're playing a supporting role for somebody else, or if you're the lead character, I guess. You just can't live life knowing that kind of stuff.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I guess there wasn't any relative certainty of like, these guys could have, never, if Bannister ran a 4.6 or whatever else he ran later on, wouldn't have been a big deal. It was funny in the book they talked about all these spectators coming out to see all these qualifying races, and like the guy that would win it would get 4 and change, 4:10, and they'd just be like, "Oh, this was awful," and sheer disappointment. And then when Bannister ran, they announced the time as this big like flurry of representing the Oxford Athletic Club, like this whole
3.
Yeah, as soon as it says 3, they don't even get the rest of the time. The crowd explodes. They don't even they didn't get the rest of it.
Tea and crumpets for everyone.
Yeah,
they didn't say that. I'm sorry if you have any British viewers. I'm just a piggish American. I'm very sorry.
But we know that you drink tea and crumpets.
Oh, stop it!
I mean, well, it's true.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
All right.
I like tea. Just saying.
Fingers and mash.
This is a family show. So, yeah. So I think it was cool that this guy did this. But the other part of the story that people like to bring up too is that this record didn't stay very long.
No.
I think it was broken within a month, or there's a lot of numbers in this book.
It's like 18 days it was broken. 45 days, 2 guys broke it in the same race, and then 126 days Bannister re-broke the current record. So or something like that.
Like bounced around.
Yeah. So in literally in 6 months, it was like It's like when he did it within 6 months, bam, 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 another rapid succession of record-breaking times happened.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting in that he was the first guy to do it, very noticeable. He's the one that kind of has held this torch all these years, even though the people ran that. But as soon as that door was opened, it was a very empowering thing to people for years and generations to come of, well, this can already be done because someone's already been there. And I think that's kind of that's full circle back to it's okay to play a supporting role even though you may never get there, or you might be the hero of the story, you might be the villain or whatever else. But when you're on the cusp of something like this, the journey and the risk is worth it, because this could be the thing that defines history henceforth from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you think of this book? Would you recommend it?
No.
No?
I think this podcast is already 10 minutes into all of this.
In my brain!
I would say this. It's $2.99.
Amen.
And
you got a long flight? You're gonna download a few. It's all right.
Save your $2.99. Buy yourself a Doritos, Tacos Locos.
I would say Taco Bell. There's some filler in this book that is a little bit longer than the Wikipedia article. I would say read the Wikipedia article. I'm not kidding, because this has like a bunch of side stories that don't really relate to Bannister. It's other people that were running in the 60s that didn't win races, which is like, by the way, the fact that we're talking about Bannister and no one else is like,
I know.
Yeah. So I would say if you're really into running and want to know more about this, it's worth the $2.99. Sure. Besides that, I'd maybe say skip it. And this book, I got flinched on. Remember when we read the flinch?
Yes.
And at the end, you're like, this feels like it's coming to a close. And then you're like, but I'm only at 40%. And like the last 2/3 of the book is ads for other books.
Yes.
Yeah. This book was the same way. I was like, oh, that's 75%. We've caught up to modern day. What more could there be? And it's like,
if you like this, you'll love Road to the Olympics.
Exactly.
Running and more running.
It's like, here's some more stories from this author that are probably going to cost more than $2.99. So this might not be a winner, but like I said, there is some good lessons to learn from Bannister's life, and I think that alone is worth spending a little time on Wikipedia and checking that out.
Spend a little time on Wikipedia.
But tell your college professor that. So I think that's all we have for this one. This is kind of a short one. Like I said, this book is not bar-worthy, if you will. You will not impress anybody if you sit down and say, I read a Kindle single on Roger Bannister. So what, I just read Wikipedia. Anyway.
Or just read Wikipedia, and then you can say, I've read a book about Roger Bannister.
And they're like, he's the guy that invented that rail that goes next to the stairs?
Oh!
On that note, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back soon with more episodes.